A little bit. I listen. I love this guy.
Here he is.
Is he here? Oh! Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Robbie Gould.
Hello. How are you?
The all-time leader in Chicago points history. Hello. How's it going? Good to see you. Chicago Bears, longtime field goal kicker, leads the team, the franchise in all-time points. Top 10.
Him out of his spot.
No, yeah, that's Cody. Who cares about Cody? Yeah.
Have you been briefed on what's going on here?
Yeah.
By your handler?
Barstool Sports is pretty wild, so I'm in for the ride. Let's go.
Perfect.
Okay.
Do you want a root beer float? We're making root beer floats.
You know what? I'd love a root beer. That'd be fantastic.
Sure.
Yeah, why not? What kind of root beer are we pushing around?
We're not allowed to say.
Brandless root.
Brandless root beer.
beer?
But it's a good one, I can guarantee you. Here, one sec.
Thanks for that.
Of course. There you go.
Yeah, appreciate it.
This is big time because
This is big time.
This is the first time Connor and I have hosted the show ever. So you are
How's it going, guys?
a massive guest.
Very good, very good.
Very
It was
good?
a good day. When Connor Griffin approaches you and gives you a root beer float to start your morning, every day is going to be a good day.
Yeah, that's Blutman. He is a big-time root beer float guy.
Root beer guy.
Root beer guy?
Well, yeah, but you enjoyed the float aspect of
A
it.
lot. Yeah, that was a great treat. I was very unexpected.
All right, good. But I also love to have you in because I am a Penn State guy.
That's what I hear. Go Lions.
Go Lions. Huge Penn State guy. You, of course, went to Penn State and then went on to have this. Was it 18 or 19 years in the NFL?
18, yeah.
Okay, 18 years in the NFL. Leads all-time Chicago Bears franchise history in points. Top 10 in NFL history in points. Just this very long, successful career in the NFL. But I was curious to start off, like, how would you characterize just overall your time and your experience at Penn State as a guy who loves Penn State?
Listen, it was great. I had Joe at the end of his career. Obviously, a lot of colleges around us, the Ohio States, the Michigans, they used his age against us in recruiting. So we didn't get the big recruits that they're starting to get now as they shifted into the James Franklin era.
Yeah.
But to be a Nittany Lion and go play in front of 110,000 people and the whiteout and just the dynamic there of you're not going to get that energy at a lot of places in college football. Academically, it's awesome, and the alumni base is absolutely insane everywhere you go. So I loved it. I played for 4 years there. Wish I could have definitely had a fifth year, maybe won the Orange Bowl the next year. But it was something that set me up for my life, and I played with a lot of great players. We had my sophomore year, we had 4 first-rounders and 2 second-rounders, all in the top 38 picks in the draft. Mm-hmm. From Larry Johnson, Brian Johnson, Michael Haynes, Jimmy Kennedy, Brian Scott, Anthony Adams, you guys see probably running
Spice.
around now. Yeah, so. And Spice was Spice back then, messing around in the locker room and having fun.
Yeah. No, I just asked that because obviously the Orange Bowl game came the year after you graduated, and you didn't have – it was what a lot of Penn State fans considered to be like the down period of, Joe Pa's career. But then obviously you go – well, were you working – at a construction firm? You were working on the business side.
So
Penn State?
I went to New England.
Okay,
and was basically Adam Vinatieri's camp leg. Learned a lot there. It was great. I kicked a lot for Adam. I was definitely a camp leg. And then got cut there. Went to Baltimore. Was there for a couple weeks on the practice squad. Got cut. Then Chicago was like, "Hey, do you want to come in for a workout on Thursday?" They called me, and I hung up on the lady 3 times. I'm like, yeah, whatever. They've called me. Back then, there wasn't an easy way to track you by cell phone. They called my actual construction job and said, hey, we want to bring you in. So I thought it was my friend just messing around with me. And then I ended up going to Chicago, and they're like, we're only going to need you for a couple weeks. And I was like, sure, that's fine. Just don't let the checks bounce.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, I was there for 11 years.
Wow. Crazy.
I'm not a Penn State fan. I am
at all.
No, I am.
And are you Ohio State?
No,
Michigan,
he's not. Everybody in this room, whenever Penn State gets brought up, immediately goes into, fuck Penn State.
Well, I believe me and Brandon Walker are big Penn State believers. We believe the program is going in a very good direction. But I'm more
might be preseason number 1 this year.
Possibly.
Aller's very good.
There are talks.
Very underrated.
There are murmurs. Anyway, go ahead.
I am a stat nerd, and I'm going to read off some stats of yours, if that's okay.
Sure.
This is we do a segment on the show called The Glaze, where we bring our guests on, and we just kind of glaze them for a little bit. Is that okay?
Yeah, whatever.
Okay, if I glaze?
Go ahead.
All right, so this is me glazing Robbie.
This will be the first time I'm getting glazed over here.
Good.
Yeah, live on air.
Yeah, for sure.
So these are your playoff stats. You are 39 for 39 all-time on point after attempts, and you were 29 for 29 on field goal attempts in the history of the NFL playoffs. You're the only player in NFL history with that many attempts, with more than 10 field goal attempts, who is perfect on point after attempts and field goals. How'd you do it?
I love those moments as a competitor, as an athlete. The moment of the playoffs is literally, and I like in football, in the NFL, and even in college now, if you see the CFP, like it's win or go home, right? You can have a bad game in the NBA, you can have a bad game in the NHL, depending on the pivotal part of the series, but it's gonna be 7 games. But in the NFL, it's like either you go out and you compete, and most of those games come down to field goals. And my biggest fear was always I didn't want to fail for my teammates. And I love to play with a chip on my shoulder, and I play with a lot of confidence. I wish I would have did that every single week. When you play an 18-game schedule, 17-game schedule, like you're like, oh, here we go, and it's another game, right? And you have to find ways to motivate yourself. The ultimate goal in the NFL, and something I still would be chasing to this day, having played in 2 Super Bowls and 5 NFC championships, is a Super Bowl win. Right? Like that's what you play. Like it's an elite class. Like there's 3,000 people in the history of the NFL who have Super Bowl rings. Yeah. Now, I would like to make the Hall of Fame. That's a much more elite class. But the playoffs, you got to play your best when your best is needed.
When Devin Hester returned that kick, were you just like chilling on the sideline? Like were you even like?
I was in a tent actually. The worst, the weather at that Super Bowl. It's the only, even the one in New York. It's the only Super Bowl in the history, I believe, of the NFL that rained or had like bad weather.
Wow.
So I remember when Devin was getting ready to take that kickoff return back, I was in a tent with Brad Maynard on the sideline trying to stay dry. And I was like, all right, here we go. We're getting ready to go. I'm like, oh my God, Brad, they're going to kick it to him. Oh my God, they're going to kick it to him. They kicked it to him. And I was like, oh no, he's going to the house. We're literally searching in this like medical tent for a helmet to go kick the first extra point of the game after he takes the kick back to the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it literally rained the entire time except for the hour and a half of pregame. And then I remember watching Prince from the tunnel. Everyone gave Evan McPherson a lot of crap for, watching Dr. Dre on the sideline. But I was literally in the tunnel watching Prince in the rain and Purple Rain. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's a fun experience other than losing.
That is pretty sick.
So you turn around, kick the extra point, turn around, kick the kickoff. I'm curious what your thoughts are on the new dynamic kickoff. Are you a fan of it? They're also pushing the touchback up to the 35. Like, what are your thoughts as a former NFL kicker on just the changes to the kickoff for the last 2-3 years?
Yeah, I have a unique experience because my brother coaches for the LA Chargers, and he's been a special teams coordinator. He won a Super Bowl with the Denver Broncos, and I've seen the evolution of this rule because it was truly the owners didn't want anyone to get hurt, right? To go on IR, lose a player, have to spend more money on other players. They're always trying, they say, to get the game safer, quote unquote. But what ended up happening was I think they tried to get the kickoff return out of the game. And essentially what they did is they tried to get the ball to like the 30, 35-yard line to entice teams to go get young kickers to kick it out of the back of the end zone, where that value became more valuable than making field goals, right? So it shifted for sure to now younger kids starting to come in and kick. But you see coaches on the sideline freaking out because those kids aren't doing as well percentage-wise. I like the new rule that they're going to move it back to the 30 because I think you're going to see a lot more teams play more aggressive, even with working in the balls, because now they're going to be able to work in the balls before they actually get to the game as opposed to the 45 minutes before the game. So I think moving it back to the 30, I like the non-collisions of starting the guys off at a certain yard line, a certain distance from each other. But it doesn't allow – it'll now – this new rule, moving the kickers back to the 30, will allow guys like Devin Hester to flourish and make an NFL case for making the Hall of Fame and changing the football game.
There were also talks about, onside kicks and how now you have to announce that it's going to be an onside kick and everything like that. Do you have any thoughts on how that's evolved? And
I think that's one of the dumbest rules they put in play, frankly. Like, do they go up to the offensive line and say, hey, we're going to run the football now?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, we're gonna throw it. And by the way, we're going to throw it to you, corner. They don't say that, right? Like, now all of a sudden you have to, all because of what? You don't want them to do a high hopper and take a collision from 10 yards away. Like, that play's not the play that's going to, like, really hurt somebody. I also think that some coaches, the younger that these coaches have gotten, the less special teams has become a priority for them in signing players and how they construct the roster. If you look at how the NFL is moving and constructing the roster, you have really high-paid guys and you have really draftable 50% off veterans. And, you know, if you have a Patrick Mahomes, you can do that and win a Super Bowl, right? But that's kind of the model that a lot of teams are going towards.
Do you what do you think? Obviously, I feel like I know your answer kind of based just off that, but there is more talk about basically eliminating the onside kick entirely and basically replacing it. The nerds like me.
He's a big nerd.
Big
analytics nerd.
The guys look like me want to make it 4th and 19 from your own 30. Is that something you think is worthwhile? Like, did you feel like when you were practicing onside kicks, like this is like we're never going to get this, or like maybe like this is such a difficult thing that we should just put it in the offensive hands? Like, how do you feel as a kicker of like the onside kick entirely potentially going away?
Listen, I like it. I mean, go back, and I love the guy Bostic. Like, go back to Seattle, Green Bay. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to coach it. You have to spend time on it. There's only so much time in a day for practice, and coaches, not the special teams coaches, but coaches in general that are in these meetings and competition committee are like, I don't really want to worry on 7 minutes of a preseason practice and have to do this 6 times over the course of, you know, the offseason to when we start the season, and teach these guys that if it's on the front line, don't go touch it. Let the guy that's actually recovering it recover. If it's a slow roller, you go get it. Like, the people screw up. Like, the hardest job in the National Football League is the special teams coordinator. Mm. He has to coach everyone. He gets the guys that aren't necessarily going to play. He's going to have a starter move up to a starting linebacker or a wide receiver role. He doesn't have that guy. So he gets a guy that comes off the street that doesn't know anything and has to play him in 3 days. So, like, there's a lot of gamesmanship to it. And I think as a kicker, you know, the thing that you value the most is how well you're able to accomplish all things situationally. Bill Belichick was the greatest football mind situationally, whether it be special teams, whether it be on offense, on learning how to curb the rules and get the ball back faster. You know, I don't think the onside kick should go away at all. I think it's a play that, frankly, even though the percentage is lower, I don't know that the 4th and 19 percentage is any higher, right?
Yeah. But yeah, the idea is basically like try to find a scenario that would be equally as likely, but like you said, like it's the gamesmanship of it all. It's the sports, the art of football, not necessarily.
I think people want to watch the guys that are the highest paid guys play. Right? And not have that be a part of the game to be what's considered the win or loss, right? Like we moved the 2-point conversion to say, oh, hey, more people are going to do it. How'd that work out?
Yeah, it's true.
If it's an offensive-minded football league, which the rules are geared towards that, right, and it's a quarterback-driven league, then why, if you move the extra point back to 33 yards, are we not going for 2 more?
Yeah.
The only guy that's really done it and done it pretty successfully was Doug Peterson.
Yep.
Right?
Sure.
Like, you move it back to the 33-yarder, which made it more valuable for the kickers, frankly, but I don't think it was viewed that way. And everyone's like, well, he missed an extra point. I'm like, yeah, well, it's a 33-yarder. It depends on the conditions. But if the conditions are so bad, like in Buffalo, San Francisco, and a foot of snow, why are we not going for 2? We're still kicking those kicks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I just think that some of those rules take time. I also think some of those need thought process of people that aren't selfishly motivated.
You obviously were talking about how in those big moments, maybe in a weather game where, you know, it's got to be tough and you got to rise to the occasion and just nail a kick straight through the uprights, you like those type of environments. Do you have a specific kick in mind that you look back on, maybe one that's framed in your basement, like, oh, that's my best kick, or that's my favorite kick of my career?
I would say San Francisco, Green Bay in the divisional round.
That was the one I was
you know, listen, the best place to play if you're a history buff of the National Football League is Green Bay. Mm-hmm. You know, playing there in those environments with even my wife and I and the kids, we went up to see the Chargers play last year. We took a tour of the entire stadium. It was like pretty unique to get a different view of what that looks like. For me, though, the cut was a lot deeper because listen, we did our fair share of losing to Green Bay when I was here in Chicago. We didn't score an offensive touchdown that game. We scored on a punt block and 2 field goals, right? Our defense played great. Debo made an awesome play to get in field goal range. We had lost to them earlier in the season where we took the lead, and they got the ball at the 35, go back to this new rule, and now gives people a chance that you have to make a decision. Hey, am I going to kick it off and cover, or am I going to give Aaron Rodgers 35 at the 35-yard line with 25 seconds? He hits Devontae Adams down. Was it Devontae? No, I think it was anyways, it was a receiver. He gets a 30-yard gain. Then Crosby hits a 51-yarder to beat us. And it was kind of like this, we're going there, it's 0 degrees, awful weather, and to finally beat them there in a playoff game, right hash, which left or right, we didn't want it on the right hash. It was a left or right win. But that's just how it ended up, so we could get it in range, and the guys did an awesome job converting. And I'll always remember Jimmy G's conversation when we did that, dropped the F-bomb on Green Bay, and to this day we still hate Green Bay.
Well, kind of going off of that, and you brought up Crosby. Do kickers trash talk? Is there a lot of beef between the kickers? You guys ever talk shit?
No, not really between the kickers. I mean,
Well, you talk shit to other players, though?
the only guy that I think I really talk a lot of junk to was Jalen Ramsey. And it really, like, it wasn't because, like, I didn't respect him. There's, like, for me, like, you go to, like, being a sports nerd or whatever and the stat nerd, like, my whole thing was I like to figure out who was who and what their dynamic was. So even if they were on defense, you could find out, or offense, what these guys on the edge rush would do to give up a penalty. So the only reason I talked junk to Jalen is because I knew that if you talked to him, he would talk back because he couldn't resist himself, right? And next thing you know, he's in my face. I'm like, oh, I got a 15-yard penalty. Here it is. And then finally, like, you know, they don't throw the penalty because the referees don't want to do that. That's fine. But then we play him in, like, the NFC Championship game. He's like, hey, don't start today. Don't start today, right? But really that's the only guy that, for the most part, kickers are pretty chill.
Yeah, seems like it.
But on the other side, those guys like to talk shit to the kickers a lot more, especially on the D-line.
Mm-hmm.
I think 2 more things, and then we'll stop stealing all your time.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very valuable. You're sitting next to the #1 ball watcher, self-proclaimed in the entire world, Liam Blutman.
Congrats.
Big
You're the best at
football head.
something. It doesn't matter what it is. You know, world leader.
World leader.
Yeah,
Yeah.
world #1.
Yeah, we could say that, sure.
I-
A lot
I-
of tennis going on. Novak lost today.
He's on this show. We are taking his time away from watching ball. He would be watching ball right now. But anyway, go ahead.
I was going to say, if Liam, do you have anything you want to ask Robbie Gould as a massive ball watcher?
Yeah, I do. Watching the game from the sidelines as a kicker has to be one of the coolest things to do, eh?
You know what? When you play for 15 seconds a game, I'm healthy. Right? I'm able to walk around. It's perfect.
It's a great
know?
scene in the house.
Yeah, I mean, how is it when you watch the kickers kick?
I enjoy,
You enjoy
it.
that, or?
I'm a big college football guy. Unfortunately, I like seeing kickers fail a bit because it's good content. But NFL speaking, I love seeing a kicker go out there in a playoff game and just drill a 43-yarder ice on their veins.
Well, that's good.
Thank you.
It's called maturity and growth, I think. Huh?
Yeah.
Do they juice the doinks? I feel like there's been narrative that the doinks have gotten louder on TV over the years.
They do have pretty much cameras and microphones everywhere now. I don't know that in the beginning, 10, 15 years ago, those actually sat near the uprights.
Right.
But they're trying to capture every angle and every conversation possible to be able to, like you guys here at Barstool, you know, you like content. They're trying to create content.
Of course. All right.
And I think last question for you. Very important question. Maybe the most important one so far.
I'd say so.
Yeah.
If I know what the question is, and I think I do, yes, it is the most important one.
Robbie Gould, do you think a horse can play baseball?
This is the most thought anybody's
Yeah.
ever put into the question.
I'm going to say no.
Oh, okay.
What's your reasoning behind that?
I think it's going to be hard to hit a 100-mile-per-hour fastball.
What if I told you there's a horse that not only played baseball, but he played baseball against Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax?
Okay.
TJ, do you have that?
Yeah, can you throw those headphones on for me?
Yeah, right to your right. There you go. Toss those on real fast.
It's an interactive experience, fellas, huh?
Yeah.
So that's Sandy Koufax.
Why don't you play that, TJ? Wham!
It's good cinema there.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of Mr. Ed?
I do. Yeah, I remember watching it as a kid.
There he is right there.
Elite base stealer, for sure.
So he's rounding the bases right now. You think he's going to go for a triple right here. He's going to stop. Nope. There you go.
Yeah.
Safe and home.
Yeah.
Horse can play.
We do that with every guest. So.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Thoughts?
I guess they can play baseball.
Yeah.
I
Perfect.
would like to see that full pitcher and not just the bat. But hey, horses can play baseball.
You think he might be a defensive liability potentially? Probably wouldn't be able to put a glove in on his foot, would he?
Yeah, maybe he could kick.
Yeah, maybe he can catch.
Yeah.
That too.
Horses probably can kick.
They probably can.
That's probably true. Yeah.
Before you do get out of here, thank you so much for your time. We obviously know you're coaching now at the high school level. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to get out there to the people?
No,
Maybe any Bears
listen,
thoughts on the season this year?
I'm excited about the Bears. Obviously St. Viator, we have Cole Kmet is one of our NFL alumni. We have guys like Brett Basney and Jared Payton. So, there's some history of guys playing through our program that have gone in the NFL. It's great to have Cole be a part of our program. I think if you look at the Bears spent money to get Ben Johnson, which I think everyone was shocked by, because normally when they fire a coach with that tenure left, that would not be a move that they made. So I love that they were aggressive in doing that. I think they were really aggressive in the moves that they made to shore up the offensive line for Caleb. I love that they went and got Caleb, a veteran backup quarterback. I think Case Keenum's going to be really influential in his development. Case is a great dude who, he can go in there if Caleb gets hurt and you can still win. Nothing against Tyson Bagent, but I just think that Caleb and a rookie quarterback at that time needed an older guy to help him develop. Defensively, I love Dennis Allen. I think if you watch what he has done as a defensive coordinator, they play physical, they play fast, they play with an edge. He's got an edge to him. So I think, all of that being considered, and they have a lot of draft capital yet to add. So I think this could be a really exciting, from what I hear, Ben Johnson is very similar to like a Kyle Shanahan when it comes to the offense and how he operates.
Right.
So to have a guy like that and have that in Chicago, which I don't know that we've had for a really long time, is pretty exciting, and the city should be excited about it. Just like the Cubs right now. The Cubs are playing great baseball. And 2 months ago was probably a bad time to be a Chicago fan, and now it looks like it's on the up and up, which is great. Guys got to come out to our St. Viator game on Friday night. Come out and check out the vibe. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Sure.
Arlington Heights?
Yeah, so we play at Roosevelt University as our home field.
Perfect.
But take the 45-minute drive out. We'll put you on the sideline, have a little fun.
That'd be awesome.
We'll get in contact with your manager over here.
Yeah.
He can help us out.
I pay him a lot of money. So.
And Blutman could be on the sideline and watch a game. That'd be perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, awesome. Well, Robbie Gould, everybody.
Robbie Gould, thank you so much.
Seriously, thank you.
For joining the show.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it.
Go Penn State.
Go Penn
Oh,
State.
can
We
you
are.
say one thing into the microphone, just family.
Family.
There we go. It's a family in here.
It's a
We like to
family.
promote that type of vibe.
Yep, we got world leaders and family. I like it.